Hello everyone, and welcome to a Pilates yoga fusion type workout today. For those who are practicing regularly with me, you'll know a lot of these movements. If you are someone who's just checking me out for the first time, then just have some fun with the movements. If anything feels wrong, make sure that you stop immediately. Again, you are not being watched. I can't see you, so any risk that you take, make sure that you have space around you. There's nothing in front of you, around you. Do a quick check that way. If there's anything that's feeling wrong in your body, stop immediately and make sure you just check in with a professional before you start anything new, okay? Other than that, let's have a good time. I like to just start off with some breathing. I don't know about anyone else, but I've got a million different things on my mind at any given point of the day. And so it's just really good to set yourself up for your intention for your practice, whatever you're going to be doing, and just letting go of anything that isn't serving you at the moment. Let's go ahead and sit cross-legged. Maybe we keep our eyes open, maybe we close them, maybe we rock a little side to side to make sure that we're completely grounded on our mats. I'm not using any particular equipment today, so if you do have equipment around, blocks, straps, bands, whatever works for you, please feel free to use them. And then I just want you to roll your shoulders all the way up, back, and then slide them down and together like the letter V. Inhale up, back, and down. Let's do that 2 more times with our breath. Inhale up, exhale back and down. The last one, inhale up, exhale back and down. Head stacked nicely over shoulders. Just want you to relax for a moment. We're going to take our chin to our chest, so just drop your head down. Roll your chin over to your right shoulder. And then bring it back through the center and over to the other side. Go ahead and do that a couple more times. Slow it down if you need to. We all don't breathe in the same rhythm, so we all don't have to move our head in the same pattern. If this feels good for you, just going side to side, shoulder to shoulder, stay here. If you want to do an entire circle, go over to the right shoulder, look up to the sky, turn to the left shoulder, and then draw that circle down. Just so that we don't get motion sickness, let's draw to the left side, look up, come to the right, and go down. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale all the way up on one side, circle around, or just take that U shape, and then back up, around, and down. Let's inhale those hands all the way up. Let's go ahead and grab onto our left wrist and then just come over to a side bend, keeping your left butt cheek down, reaching over, but we're not really yanking on our hand. We're just gently leaning over to the side, making sure both of our butt cheeks are attached to our mat. If we want to turn our head to look up to the sky, we can. Maybe we want to turn it down and look to the ground. Maybe we don't want to turn it at all. Inhale all the way up. Exhale the hands down. Let's do the other side. Inhale, rise. Clasp onto the wrists. Both butt cheeks permanently stuck to your mat. We're just leaning over to the side, seeing how our side body feels. We might turn that head, look up. We might turn that head, look down. We're going to inhale the hands all the way up, releasing wrists. And exhale, float it down. Placing your hands on your knees, shoulders up, back, and down. You're going to take that left shoulder, cross it over to the right knee. Once you've done that, circle through the center and switch it so that the right shoulder is left knee, and then come back up. Let's try that a couple of times. So I'm extending fully through the elbow, then bending both as I come through, extending through the other elbow, and then sitting up. Now I'm adding breath. Exhaling, circle down, feeling the lower back, hips, shoulders, everything starting to work as one, including breath. Exhale to come down. Inhale to rise up. One more time. Exhale, circle down and up. If you are comfortable switching the legs, so I have my right over and left, I'm switching it so it's the other way. It's going to feel awkward. Find your sitting pattern that feels quite right for you, even though it's on the wrong side. And then we're going to inhale those hands all the way up. Exhale onto the knees, shoulders up, back and down for that long spine, trying to keep that neutral spine. And we're going to take that right shoulder, bring it to the left knee, so we're circling the other way, coming down through center, pushing away from that knee, and coming back up. Let's try it again one more time before we add our breath. Maybe you're already with your breath. And if we haven't started breath, let's try it now. Let's exhale to scoot down and inhale to rise up. Exhale, scoot down. Inhale, rise up. One more time. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise up. Good. Let's inhale those hands all the way up. Exhale to heart center. Bringing those hands down at your side. Lift up the chest. Give me a nice big chest stretch. Look up to the sky. Arch the back. Support with the hands. Tuck the chin. Roll back down. Let's open up these legs nice and wide in a V-sit. We're going to have our hands behind our legs. That'll allow us to shift our pelvis forward and come into a deeper hip opener. If you're good here, you can stay here. If you need to take the edge off, then just pull the legs a little bit closer. Blocks or keep a soft knee bend if you need to. Your legs do not have to be entirely straight. Once we're here, I just want you to gently walk yourself down, keeping your chest upright so that we can still see one another. So we're looking at one another. We're not forward folding. We're just hinging at the hips. So my elbows haven't even touched the floor. I'm just reaching out and looking straight up and feeling it right from the back of my knees all the way into my inner thighs. A couple of deep breaths here. If we want to lower to our elbows to get a little bit deeper down, we can. Couple of nice deep breaths here, just noticing how it feels. Inner thighs get tight. We don't do a lot of squats during our daily lives in our modern society. To help yourself back up, we walk our hands back one at a time towards the body. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale through heart center. We're going to start into those back bends again. So inhale all the way up. Take that right hand, scoop it down towards the knee, and then just lean over to the side, maybe going towards that foot. Inhale the hands all the way up. And then exhale, reaching for behind your opposite knee. And then inhale, back up. Let's do that. Exhale, reach. You might be able to reach for those toes. Depends on your flexibility. Inhale, both hands up. And then exhale, reach. Maybe you find it on this side. Maybe you don't. All the way up. Let's do that a couple more times at your own perfect pace. Exhale to bend. Inhale to lift. Exhale, getting a stretch in the back of the legs. Side obliques. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lift. Last time, exhale, reach. Inhale, up. Bring those hands down through heart center. Placing those hands behind you. If we have the ability to lift that chest and look up, we can. And then if you want, you can point those toes to the floor, lift up the pelvis, squeeze the butt, and come up a little bit higher. This is just an option. Exhale, lower down, roll through chest. Let's go ahead and bring one of those knees in, followed by the other, and set yourself up on your mat. So we're gonna come down onto an elbow plank. So elbows right underneath the shoulders.
My hands are touching and they're not interlaced. We just have the fingertips touching, made in a fist. Knees underneath the hips. My toes are tucked, but if you prefer to be flat, that's fine too. I like the plantar stretch. Shoulders up, back, and down. So we've got strong stability in the shoulder girdle. Then we're going to take that front leg and just extend it out. My toe is still touching the floor. So my hips are level here, and then I'm just going to lift up my foot using the glute muscles. If you want a little bit more, you can bring your head to rest down on your fingertips or your thumbs. This will bring your head lower than your heart. You're in an inversion now, just a slight one, but it will bring blood to your head. We have the foot high up into the sky. You squeeze your butt as much as you want, and then we're just going to lower that toe down. So toe down, and then straight back up again. Exhale, and inhale. Thinking about a nice long straight line, toe tap, squeeze up, try not to arch the back, we're bracing the core, lower down, and lift back up. Let's do a little faster. Down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay at the top and pulse. Pulse and pulse and pulse. Really squeeze your butt. Keep going with these little pulses. How about 4 more? 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee to chest. Pull knee in and then send it back up. Pull knee in, exhale, and inhale, send it up. 2 more. Lengthening through that muscle, and then we're going to go back into the deep work. 1 more. Hold the leg up as high as you can. Little circles. Little circles, doesn't matter which direction you're going in. Start off small. Drawing a little baseball. Make it a little bit bigger, maybe a soccer ball. Draw it a little bit bigger, maybe make it a beach ball. Then maybe go all the way to a hula hoop. Scoop it all the way around. You go as fast or as slow as you can control it. Then stop at the top. Change the direction. Huge circles in the other direction. And then brace that core because we're going to make it smaller. Bring it in. Little circles. Smaller. Make them a little smaller. A little smaller yet. We're back to the softball. Little circles. Foot high into the sky. Pull knee into the chest. Exhale. Inhale. Kick back. 2 more. Exhale. Kick back. Last one. Kick back. Foot down. Knees outside hips. Child's pose. Release those shoulders. Whew. All right, one side of my body. Hello. We're going to take these hips and just shift them over to the front. Give a little stretch in the side here. Let's do the same thing towards the back. Since I haven't quite worked that leg yet, it doesn't feel quite as good as it did on the front. Bring yourself back through center. We're going to walk ourselves up. And let's set up for the other side, yes? All right, so come down into the elbow underneath shoulders. Again, my fingers touching, not interlaced. Shoulders back and away from my ears, strong in the shoulder girdle. Knees underneath the hips. Your choice to tuck the toes. You get a little bit of a plantar stretch here. And I like to tuck in the toes so I can press off of it. So now that we've got this, slide the back leg out. Hips are even. We're trying to pull the belly up, zipper up through the center of the body, shoulders away from the ears, and then use your glute muscles, your butt, to lift that foot up as high as you need it. Now again, you can stay here with your head equal to your heart. If you want a bit of a challenge, bring your head down to rest on your thumbs. Okay, once we've got that, that allows us to get that foot even a little higher just because of the angle of the body that we're in. All right, the angle of the body position, I should say. And then we're just going to start the taps. Tap straight down, squeeze butt up. Now the hips shouldn't be moving. We shouldn't have a dip or a sway in our back as we're just lifting up and dropping down. We can add breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 4 more of these. Inhale and exhale. Good squeeze. Notice the muscles we're using. Core is on. 2 more. This is the last one. We're speeding it up. You go as quick as you need to. Up and down. Up, touch down. Up, touch down. Push out of the shoulders. Brace the core so we're not wobbling. Slow it down if you're going to wiggle those hips. Up and down. Up and down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay at the top and pulse. Pulse, pulse. Squeeze, point that toe. Little movements here. Up high in the air. Keep going. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee into the chest. All the way back. Exhale and inhale. 2 more. We've still got some work to do. You remember the combination that we did? On one side, hold up here. Draw your little circles. All right, stabilize the pelvis. Brace that core. Push into the forearms. Draw the circles a little bit bigger. Doesn't matter which way you're going because we're going to reverse it. A little bit bigger, please. Woo, I'm feeling this now. Big as you can. Go with the biggest circles you can draw. Do a couple more of those and then pause at the top. All right, reverse it. Big circles in the other direction. Keep it going. Keep circling. Make them a little smaller. Keep the foot up in the air as high as you can. Make it smaller. Make it smaller. Little circles. Knee into chest. Exhale. Send it back. 2 more. In and back. Last time. In and back. Put the foot down. Big toes touch. Knees outside the hips. Push your butt back towards your heels. And breathe. How are your glutes feeling? Definitely more awake now. Let's take this stretch so we bring that front hand towards our elbow. Take that back hand and cross it towards the front. Maybe it's off your mat. And then sink that back hip down into the mat. Little side stretch here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So walk the back hand into the mat. Send your front hand to the top of the mat. Pull the back hand towards your shoulder. And then take the other hand and cross it off the mat, dropping the pit down. A couple of breaths here. And when you're ready, walk yourself back into the center of the mat. Walk yourself up. And roll yourself onto your belly. Onto your back. We're going to work the belly. Okay, we're going to work those muscles here. So, holding on to the knees. I like to rock and roll. Again, that's a personal choice, but I like to get a little bit of a massage here. So if you're game for a little rocking and rolling, you do it as many times as you need to, and then we'll all meet on our mats. So just have a lie back when you're ready. Heels close to the body. Hands, fingertips just at your shoulders. Okay. Elbows point to the sky. Back is firmly on your mat. Let's go ahead and stack our knees one at a time over our hips. Okay. If you're pressing into your fingertips, you can feel the work in your upper abdominals. And then we're going to work the lower abdominals by extending the front leg out. So extend out the front leg and then pull it back in. Then the back leg and pull it back in. Now here's the option, toe tapping, okay? If it's too much, you're feeling your back lifting off your mat, I want you to toe tap instead. Otherwise, we can lengthen it out. We don't have to go as long to the floor. We can just maybe go a quarter of the way down. So that's your choice. So we're just going out and in, pressing into your fingertips, elbows to the sky, and in. Let's do that one more time on each side, and then we'll add in. All right, so let's add that front leg goes out and in, the back leg goes out and in, fingertips to temple, crunch up towards your knees, and then lower back down, fingertips on the floor. Front leg, and then back leg, and then fingertips to temple, crunch up, and lower down. One more time, out and in, out and in, fingertips to temple, and then slowly lower down. Let's place our feet on the floor, hands out like a T, drop the knees to the front, and then drop your knees to the back. We're gonna add on, okay? So once you're back on your mat, you can stay with the original one or you can add on. Fingertips on the floor, elbows point to the sky. We're gonna stack our knees over our hips. Let's do the front leg, back leg. One front leg, one back leg. Fingertips to temple, crunch up, exhale, come down. Option number 2, front leg, back leg. Fingertips reach for your heels now, and then we come back down. Front leg, back leg. Upper body squeezes into the C crunch, lower back down. One more time and I've got an add-on for you. One leg, the other leg, reach and come down. Now 2 legs, out and in. Toe tap, out and in. Reach up and come back down. Do it again. 1 and 2 and reach and back. Both legs one at a time, your choice. And 2, reach for your heels, tuck in your chin, look between your knees and back. Let's do one more. Out and in, out and in, reach and lower down. All right, feet on the floor. My fingertips are by my elbows still. I should say my fingertips are by my head. My elbows are still pointed to the sky. We're going to do one more movement here with our hands by our ears. If this is too much for you, uncomfortable, just place your hands down by your sides, palms face down. If you have your fingertips here, it just means that you have to work a little bit harder, because instead of pushing down into the hands and using shoulders, shoulders are pinned down and we have to use the entire core muscles to lift up. So fingertips beside your ears or down by your hips. Stack your knees up over your hips. Let's go ahead and roll those hips off. It doesn't have to be a big move, and you're just bringing the knees towards the ceiling. Lift up and come down. Press into those fingers. Lift up and come down. Lift up and down. Last time, up and down. If you want a little bit more, extend those feet to the sky. We're going to lift up and come down. Lift up and come down. Lift up, come down, lift up and come down. Scissor the front leg down and up. Knees can be bent. Down and up. One and then the other. All right, adding on. Front leg, back leg, hip lift, up, again, up. Let's scissor. Front leg, back leg, hip lift up and lift up. Let's go again. 1 and 2, lift. 1 and 2. Last time. 1 and 2 and up and up. All right. Feet down. Shake out that head. Relax for a second. 1 more to go, okay? Again, you can choose to have the hands down at your side, fingertips to temple, stacking those knees, keeping the knees bent, extending up. We're going to do the scissor, front leg, back leg, 2 hip lifts, 1 and 2. Feet, drop them down, circle around, and back to the top, right? So front leg, back leg, 2 hip lifts, circle down and around, knees can be bent, and then back to the top. Let's go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Drop legs, open up to the top, go again. 1 and 2 and lift and lift. Slowly drop down, circle around 2 more times. 1 leg, the other leg, hip lift. 1 and 2, circle around, drop both legs, open up, use those hips, bring it up, go again, front leg, 1 leg, the other leg, hip lifts, go as high as you can, lift it up, use lower abs, slowly lower down, circle around, hold it here, and release it down. Bend at the knees, 1 foot down, followed by the other one. Hands like a big T. Drop the knees to the front. And then drop the knees to the back. Bring yourself through center. Bring 1 knee into chest, followed by the other. You can just gently roll onto your side to come up. Or again, we can rock and roll. I like to cross up my ankles and then tuck my chin and give it a little rock. And come back up to seated, however it makes sense to you to get there. All right, so we've worked our butt. We've definitely worked our core. Let's work into our upper back now. So swing around. Come with your belly on the mat. Feet outside the hips. Hands at the shoulder. Looking down at our mat. We're going to lift up the right hand and take a look at it. So I'm just lifting up through the front hand and taking a look, elbow squeezing behind, place that hand down. So we're going to do the same thing with the back hand. Lift it up, squeeze the elbow in, look at the hand if it's available, and then come back down. Inhale, lift up that front hand. Exhale, come down. And then the other hand. My toes are completely connected to the mat, pressing down into them. Let's go ahead and lift up. See if we can extend that arm out, bring it in, place it down. Other side, lift up, reach back, bring it in, place it down. 1 more each side. Lift up. Reach back. You're taking that shoulder blade, bringing it right into the spine, and then lowering down. No winging of the blade. We're strengthening it, bringing it all the way in towards the spine and down. All right, so again, my feet are on the mat, shoulders away from the ears, fingertips are down on the mat. Let's just lift straight up. So we're lifting straight up, squeezing, pressing into the fingertips, squeezing butt, using lower back, and then lowering back down. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, come down. I like to start things nice and slow, make sure we have no issues with the back before we move on. And if this is enough for you, you stay with this motion. If you want more, we're going to squeeze both of our elbows towards our spine, squeeze up, raise those hands, and then lower down. Inhale, and exhale. We're building. Inhale, and exhale. Next one, inhale. If you can, reach behind. Pull it back in and lower down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Last time, inhale, reach behind you, bring it in, place it down. I'm tucking my toes, and I'm going to push back into child's pose using the hands, lifting the chest, sending your butt towards your heels. Nice and slow, lengthen out. All right, so again, remember you can just stay with the lift straight up. But if you're able to do the twist side to side and then lift straight up, we're gonna put it into a nice big combo. Okay, so hopefully your back is feeling a little bit stronger now. Definitely got that core. Definitely got those glutes. So let's slide ourselves back onto our mats. Feet flat on the floor. My toes are touching. And then I have my hands at my shoulders. I'm looking down at my mat. Front hand, lift it up, wrap the elbow around, look at the hand, sweep behind, bring it back down. Other side, lift elbow, reach behind, trying to get to the other butt cheek, bring it down, and then both hands, lift up, reach back, bring it in, and down. Let's do it. Front arm, reach, in, down. Back arm up with a little spinal twist, and down. Now fully up, squeeze, reach, in, and down. Leveling up here. Hands float off the mat after you do these two. Lift the other one, reach, and then hands will float. Up, reach, hold both hands here. You're gonna reach to the back and then hold your hover. Reach to the back on the other side and hold your hover. Lift up, reach, and we're gonna do that one more time. Front side, little twist. Hold your hover, push into those toes. Back, little twist. Hold your hover. Last one, reach and lower down. Whew. Just take a moment here. Hands are at my shoulders. I'm tucking my big toes. Pressing to lift my chest up. Sliding my butt towards my heels into child's pose, releasing that lower back. All right. Nice deep breaths here. We're going to take it to our tabletop. We're going to release some of that work that we did, hands underneath the shoulder. You're going to lift your front hand all the way up. You're going to exhale, dive it through, shoulder touches the ground. Your back hand, lift it all the way up. And if you can, place it behind the back. That's our pattern. Inhale the hand up. Exhale the hand down. Inhale your right hand or your front hand all the way up. And then place it down on your mat. Lift your back hand all the way up. See if you can follow your eye gaze to your hand. Exhale, follow it as you dive all the way through, shoulder down. Inhale that front hand all the way up. And exhale it behind your back. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, unwind. And exhale down. Let's do that one more time each side. Front hand up. Exhale, thread through, shoulder down. Back hand lifted up. Exhale, wrap around. Inhale. Exhale, hand down by the shoulder. Inhale that front hand to the sky. And exhale, place it down. Last time, back hand reaches up. We're looking at our hand. We're following it as we dive through and down. We're now watching that front hand come up. And then we watch it disappear behind our back. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, place it down. Unwind to the sky. And then place it down. So now that we have stretched out those shoulders, roll them up, back and down, and knees underneath the hips, big toes tuck if you will. Now, once you've got those toes tucked, we can press back. My knees are fairly close to each other. They can touch if you want. And then we're just going to walk our hands towards our knees. We're going to get these feet to stretch. And then we're going to lift our knees and press our heels back to the bottom of our mats. Now, if your heels don't touch, don't worry. But if you can, stay in a nice deep squat
and get these ankles to touch right to, or get the heels to touch and flex right at the ankle. You can hold here, you can hold down. If you have some blocks, you can hold onto blocks. You can wrap your arms around here. We're just staying in this nice deep squat, releasing any of the tension that we have in our calves. They get very tight. So just hold here for a moment. Wherever you are, even if your heels are lifted, you're just getting that nice stretch. And then we're going to walk ourselves down. So placing those hands down, walking back. We're just going to do a nice little release here of those calves. Shoulders back and down, knees underneath the hips, and your feet are flat this time. Okay? You're going to take your front knee and you're going to place it in the center of your calf. We're just going to press some weight in there and you're going to feel that muscle. It is tight, I guarantee it. So we're just putting a light little pressure on there. You don't want to have a sharp breath. You want to be able to just nicely breathe. And we're just finding a little bit of love for those calves by giving some direct pressure onto those muscles. Now, if you want some cross friction, you can start to wiggle your toe side to side, and that's going to move your knee side to side gently across that calf. If you're like me, I have a lot of tightness in that calf. So we're just very gently doing this side to side. If you want to draw circles, that's another way to do cross friction. Little circles. You can do the static pressure, so we can just find another spot somewhere on the meaty part of the calf. There's two parts of it. Just do that static pressure. Again, you know how much pressure to put on that calf. You don't want too much. I'm breathing quite comfortably. Shoulders are away from my ear. I'm still practicing good shoulder girdle alignment so that I am squeezing my shoulder blades into my back. I'm pressing and rooting down through my fingertips. I'm doing a little cross friction by drawing little circles here. And then I'm going to find one more spot. So I'm just going to move my knee around, find another big muscly part in my calf. And once I've got it, I'm just holding some static pressure here. Again, we can wiggle our toes side to side, or we can just use our knee to draw little circles on the spot. We can just stay put, whatever makes you feel good. And then we're going to remove that knee from the calf. We're going to just sit up and we're just going to release these shoulders. All right, so if our fingertips are, I should say our wrists are starting to fatigue, here's something that might help you. If your fingertips are lower than your wrist as I fold up my mat, that'll remind you to put more pressure in those fingertips instead of directly rooting right down through your wrists. Or you can always use fists for wrists straight down. This is the last little bit for our quick class today. Effective but quick. Shoulders up, back and down. Feet flat on the floor, knees underneath the hips. You've got some stability here. We're going to take that back knee and find a meaty part of our calf. And then just see how it feels. Just put a little bit of pressure into that calf. Just hang out here for a second. Don't push hard. Just breathe. Find out how tender that muscle is. Then if you want to do a little waggle side to side just to see how cross friction feels, it's just slightly moving over the muscles, the knee. And then there's option to draw a little circle. Nice breaths here. Oof. A little bit more tender on this side, I notice. Then we're going to find a different spot to put that knee onto. Again, you're in the big belly part of this muscle. Just find that spot. Now, if you want to come down onto the forearms, you can. That's always an option too, just if you find your wrists are taking the brunt of this movement, but then you really have to keep your shoulders back and down. And then we're just drawing little circles again. It might feel more comfortable if you're up. Always choices. Everybody's different. Every day our body is different too. Don't forget about that. So what feels good one day Might not feel good the next day. And then one more spot, move around, find a different spot, meaty part of that muscle. And then press down. Deep breaths, shoulders away from the ears. Long, flat back. I'm closing my eyes. It allows me to get a little bit deeper into just breathing and focusing in on that calf muscle, drawing some circles, noticing when I draw just these bigger circles that other parts of the calf are tender as well. I wouldn't stay on this particular movement, this particular practice for more than 3 minutes to a side. Releasing down, knees outside the hips. Go ahead and push into a child's pose. Hands out in front. If you want to release your shoulders a little bit, put your head down on the mat or a block. Walk your hands towards your shoulders. If this feels good, stay here. If you can reach those hands, palms up, and just let the shoulders relax. Option again. And one of our last options is to place those hands on your back and hold your hands, either clasping onto your wrists. Seeing if that feels good. Maybe a little shift to the back of the mat with the hips and a shift to the front of the mat. I'm also rolling my temple on my mat. There's a lot of trigger points in the forehead. We hold a lot of expression. You've got tons of muscles in the face. So if you want to just roll on the hairline or around the forehead, you might find that that's quite nice and relaxing. If it's not for you, then of course, just stay static. A couple of more breaths here. And then we're going to have our hands, place them down by our shoulders, no matter what position we're in. Just place those hands by the shoulders. Press yourself up. Come back into our seated position. Noticing how those hips feel. We're cross-legged. It's my traditional cross-legged position. I'm inhaling all the way up. Exhaling down through the center. Eyes open or closed. Inhale up. And let's grab on to one of our wrists. Doesn't matter which side because we'll do it on the other side. Let's just notice how we feel. We've opened up quite a bit. Lift all the way back up. Switch to the other side. Both of your butt cheeks are down. Notice I have a little less gumminess in my side body. Coming back up. Let's bring those hands down. Let's take those feet out nice and wide. Send the hips forward. And then we can try the walk forward again. We should be looking at each other, looking up at the camera or your phone or your computer, wherever you're watching this from, and we're just leaning down. I'm noticing that I can get down a little bit more, so that's good news for me. We've got a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more length in those muscles. Walk yourself up. Inhale the hands up. Reach one hand across to the knee and reach to the other side, maybe for the foot, maybe not. Inhale all the way up. Make a circle with those hands like an O, and then bring yourself down to the other side. All the way up. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last little bit. Bring those hands up to make a letter O. And then we're going to bring those elbows down and squeeze them into our back. We're going to dive forward, crossing at the elbows. And then we're going to pull back, elbows to ribs. Turn the hands to the back, look to the sky. A couple of more times. Exhale. This is normally where we are in our daily lives, in a forward bending motion. Pull back and open up through the chest, squeeze.